Alright guys, welcome back to Starladder Season 8, Day 13. We are here and finally able to cast. We are not in-game here for Game 1 on Dota TV, as they started the game suddenly with absolutely no heads up after last word was we were going to wait and see how the servers fare. So we are casting off of the Dota TV ticket for game number 1, and we'll see how things fare from there. So I am Zyori. Merlini, my friend, are you with us?
Hello?
Hello! Hey buddy, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going okay. I'm a little bit frustrated that we didn't make it into the match here, but alas, such is life. So we do have 5 good matches coming up today, 4 Alliance games coming up after this one, and we're going to get things kicked off with Next League, aka Next.KZ, against Mouz Esports to get things going. So, brush it off. What's the good word coming into this game, Merlini?
Surprised we finally found a server. Seems like Valve's having a ton of server issues.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. And there were talks of Starladder getting canceled or postponed today, but it seems like the servers are holding steady, at least for the time being. So we'll go with it for now. And the new patch is live. 6.79C is officially among us. So Huskar and Slark are viable options, perhaps. At least they have.
People see any today?
I hope so. I'm really. Which one are you more excited for, Merlini? Because I like Huskar. I think he's pretty exciting. But
I don't like the hero, but he is a good hero, and he is there's a lot of action going on with him. So yeah. I guess I would rather see him. Slark's more boring, but I like him more.
Yeah. Okay. I can empathize with that. I'm not the biggest Slark fan in terms of spectating. I don't know, something about him. He's okay. He's just a snowball. He's kind of like watching Tusk. He's all right, I guess. But it'll be interesting to see if they're at all used today. If any of these teams are brave enough to experiment with the new choices here in CM. And as we mentioned, Elder Titan did get a slight nerf. The vision on that Astral Spirit is now a little bit smaller, and it does a little bit less damage as well. Still, a very high-valued pick here. As Next League are going to first pick him. And as we mentioned, Visage as well, one that got a small nerf, movement speed from 295 to 290, and the Venomancer across the board, maybe not across the board, that's an exaggeration, but his movement speed nerfed, his Plague Wards most importantly nerfed, and their nighttime vision, that's the big one. He's finally gotten brought back down to earth in terms of the scouting potential with those nasty little Plague Wards. So we see Veno kind of ignored so far in this draft. Shadow Demon actually getting banned before Venomancer. So we may see less and less of him, I think, as those nerfs begin to be realized by these teams.
2 things weren't touched. Visage's familiars weren't touched, and neither was Elder Titan's natural order. I think those were the 2 most ridiculous parts about those 2 heroes. But as long as they're getting touched in some way, in a nerf stick kind of way, then I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a fan of the small nerfs, and Visage, just one we've talked about many a time, needs to be brought back down just a pinch. I think he is still absolutely a god tier support, even though that movement speed will hurt him a little bit, but we'll see. So I'm having some odd connection issues here. I'm seeing sort of random frame drops, guys, so there may be little bouts of lag. I just reset my internet, but I may need to tweak some settings. So after this game, if we still have some lag issues, I may need to change some settings about on my XSplit. It's been a weird day. I'm having like XSplit issues, and the network is having issues, and everything's delayed, and no one's communicating. Velat's not casting today. Shiver's not casting today. Friday the 13th at its finest, Merlini. Exactly what we can expect.
A lot of crazy stuff going on. Too much crazy stuff.
Too much craziness. I haven't even played a single game of Wraith Knight.
Oh yeah?
No.
The game's fun. It's like good. Hero Siege from Warcraft 3.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear it's pretty exciting. People seem to be taking to it quite kindly.
It must have taken a lot of work from Valve, and it was a pretty good game mode. I'm overall very happy with the patch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe it's this cold weather that's playing with my packet loss. I don't have a good explanation. So, Clockwork and Wind Ranger, pretty straightforward draft so far. That Shadow Demon ban is a little bit interesting, though, coming out from Mouz. We've seen that.
Yeah, that's the biggest question mark to me. They might want to pick Anti-Mage is why. Other than that, I don't really know why they would ban Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon, it's like he is not really good for that many things. I mean, to be honest, he wasn't even changed that much from 6.78. His vision got nerfed on his Shadow Poison, but aside from that, he didn't really get touched. I think it's just more of the gameplay changing a lot and a lot of other supports getting buffed.
Yeah.
That led him to fall back into obscurity, which is a little bit unfortunate. He does combo well, really. He does combo really well with anti-mage, and he can kind of serve as someone as an Abaddon with the defensive disrupt. He's also good versus Bat Rider, but aside from that, there's like very few reasons that you would want to ban out a Shadow Demon.
Yeah. It's the only time we've seen him picked as of late is that Shadow Demon Lesh combo. We've seen that at least once, if not twice, over the past few days. That still works pretty well. Though Shadow
it's
Demon,
good setup. Shadow Demon Kunkka works well too.
Yeah, that's another setup for sure. And if any of you guys were watching G League this morning, I did see a little bit of Kunkka play. It's sad I didn't get to see more of the DK speed matches, but the little bit I saw seemed pretty intense. Always excited to see Kunkka. So next league here, going to draft Bounty Hunter alongside Weaver, and that's sort of a little bit of a drafting no-no, I guess you could say. We've brought that up a few times, that it makes those detection pieces a little bit more valuable, the wards, the dust, all that stuff. But next league, they're going to go for it. They're not worried about having 2 invisible heroes on one roster.
They are not. And there are 3 invisible heroes with the Clinks, but Bounty Hunter, he's so-so versus Clinks. Clinks counters, there aren't really that many like Clinks counters. It's more just general playstyle. Supporters can't get caught out alone. Make sure you have sentries. Make sure you have at least like some disable instead of silence for him. And make sure that he doesn't farm like a 12-minute Orchid and just absolutely demolish your team. So it's more just like very general things as opposed to hero counters, because Clinks with this death pack is just extremely hard to kill. And generally with agility heroes, they're just very fragile, and if you can burst them down in like a few seconds if you can coordinate properly, such as a Weaver. But he's just so extremely tanky, and with the very high move speed from one walk, he is just extremely difficult to kill. So people still haven't really found a good like solution to Clinks. Doom is okay if you can catch him without a death pack, but pretty much if you catch him without death pack, he's extremely easy to kill. So
yeah, and not a huge amount of lockdown on the side of next league. They've pretty much got well, Shackle Shot and the little bit that Elder Titan does, the sleep, and I guess you consider Earth Splitter a bit of crowd control, but not one of those low cooldown, easy stuns, so we'll see. And looks like Mouseparts, they've got enough to deal with that Weaver. At least they've got Clockwork with the Cogs, some Frostbite, but they don't have a ton of lockdown either. Queen of Pain going to be their final pick, not going to help him out on the lockdown front, but nice snowball hero for that mid lane, perhaps. Although I guess they could put Clinks mid as well. Safe lane the Queen of Pain if that's what they really wanted to do, but that seems kind of strange. It's a tri-lane Clinks is what we're really looking at here.
Clinks mid is just subpar. I think it's for 2 reasons. One is because it takes them too long to get to the side lane, or it takes them too long to get to the large creep camp. Whereas if you're on the top lane, it's extremely easy to go to that big camp. That's one thing. Secondly, he can't really do that much until like level 7, as opposed to like a Night Stalker who can run around 4 minutes in, Queen of Pain who can TP and gank very effectively, and he's just lackluster. And also, it's very hard for him to harass just because of that hill too. A lot of his strength in laning comes from the Searing Arrow Slash, which does a ton of damage in the early game. And although he's not that bad with the bottle, it's just hard for him to utilize his strengths. No neutrals and low ability to harass.
Yep. And it will be Dragon Knight, the final pick for next league here, and that will solve some of their lockdown issues that I was sort of hinting at, so not a bad choice. And I think Dragon Knight fares pretty well against Queen of Pain. That Dragon Blood does come quite in handy. But alas, no Slark, no Venomancer, and no Huskar here. Veno completely ignored, as is Lifestealer. So 2 heroes that kind of used to seeing picked up very early on in the drafts, now being completely ignored. Lifestealer, I think, still very valuable. Veno, I'm just not as surprised. And as we were talking about on the morning show earlier today, it's sort of one of those things with Veno. It seemed unintentional for him to be that powerful. earlier in 6.79, they changed the way the night vision works, and Venom Wards just weren't really nerfed appropriately alongside everyone else. So he was just so much disproportionately more powerful. And Bobo was saying one of the biggest things with him in mid lane is you could put a ward on your high ground, and it would give you vision across the river to the other high ground, which is pretty ridiculous, especially at nighttime. So just food for thought with that Venomancer.
A lot of the changes that are make or break are simply vision changes, and as with Shadow Demon, as with Venomancer, Venomancer's wards got nerfed heavily to begin with, and a lot of people complain about like the Meepo nighttime vision nerf. Yep. Drow Ranger no longer has nighttime vision, and those go a long way into making hero balanced or imbalanced. A lot of times it just makes up for their inherent weaknesses. But with all the night vision being fairly standard across the board, having any sort of benefit, which is Luna, which is Night Stalker, will definitely make that hero rise in popularity.
Yeah, absolutely right about that. As you mentioned, I think in the cast yesterday, and Boba reiterated it this morning, positioning tools and vision tools are very underrated in Dota. Vision in particular. Anything that gives you a vision advantage is much bigger than the average person tends to recognize, or average Dota player, I guess.
I completely agree with that. It's really difficult to tell from a spectator's point of view because you see everything, but when you're a player, and especially a competitive player, and you will notice like small differences with vision. Make a huge impact on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Elder Titan, see how that lack of vision with the Astral Spirit as well as the damage will start to hurt him a little bit here. Again, guys, this is game 1 of 5 today, and the match got started sort of with a moment's notice, and we did not make it in. They went without us. I for the life of me, cannot fathom why they started without the BTS casters in, or at least sending me a message on Skype. But we do not have our mics on for the in-game ticket. I see people in chat already spamming it. I'm going to reiterate again here. We will be for the remaining 4 matches of Alliance today, but game 1 we are slated to cast off the ticket, so I apologize for that. Though, I'm not going to take the blame for this one, Merlini. Not going to do it.
Well, I think if the servers were up, let's always just blame Volvo.
Yeah. We'll blame Volvo. Yeah, that's a safe bet here for sure. We'll see a little bit of exchanging down here in the bottom. And actually, I'm not getting in-game sounds. Let me turn up my master volume here again. Sorry, the fail production. Friday. Well, we're going to blame everything on Friday the 13th.
Next.KZ already off to not that great of a start. They had their ward dewarded, so Mouz will have full access to their spawn with their tri-lane. It is that tri-lane clinks that you were talking about. Mid will be Exist on that Queen of Pain. Off lane will be Ace on Mouz. And let me know when you get your audio back up.
Yep, should be good here, I think. So, and, Equal already going to be harassed a little bit here. Yeah, there we go. Now we got some sounds. That's good news. And, Bounty Hunter actually going to take a lot of damage here. He's going to get dusted, and he'll be invisible. I don't know if they're going to have enough damage to finish him off. There's the next nuke coming in from Crit. They're going to continue to pursue, and they very well may be able to grab a first blood onto Equal. There's that next Frostbite. And there it is. Rye's going to grab it. That's the power of having those detect tools early on. That dust going to secure the first blood. Nicely played.
They just made that way. He just made that way too easy. There's a couple of things he can do. He can eat a tango to get the dust off him. He can use a healing salve to get the dust off him. He can eat trees and go into the fog, so it's so easy for him. All he did was just simply click back on base without trying at all to stop that first blood from happening. And if you don't do anything, barring Mouz just hugely messing up, not casting a second Frostbite or a Grave Chill, then they're just going to get easy kill. But Next.KZ Reeves,
almost
2 hits away from dying.
Yeah, playing with fire.
Unicorn is harassing so much in this lane.
Only level 2 with that first point in Searing Arrows. Extra 30 damage does pack quite the punch. As we see Equal just getting harassed out of the lane here. Reeves going to go ahead and burn the solve. And, well, that'll bring him back up to an acceptable level. Let's introduce our Dire roster here, though. On the bottom lane, we do have, on the Dire side, we have Next.KZ. Bottom lane going to be Reeves on the Wind Ranger. Equal going to be on the Bounty Hunter. In the mid, it will be Wadafaka playing on the Dragon Knight. Elder Titan going to be up in the top lane, being played by Amazing. And Mantis here going to be on his Weaver, hard farming up in the safe lane. So this is a support Elder Titan here. He is a very versatile hero, but we've seen him almost exclusively in that solo off lane over the past couple weeks. So a nice change of pace here already, seeing him, well, in that position 5 role.
It's near impossible for him to zone out heroes now. It was like pretty difficult before, but now with the damage to Astral, or damage nerf to Astral Spirit, it's just very, very difficult for him to do anything against his Clockwork. So Clockwork should be very high level. I don't even know why he's like not in the lane. He shouldn't be scared at all, really. Especially if he's TP scroll, there's no way they can kill him. But
he does
it's like
not have
Ace
one,
taking a little bit of rest. Yeah.
Yeah, taking some harassing. He doesn't have a TP scroll, so
Equal
I
on
guess
bottom.
a little scared. Equal. There he is. He's going to fall. They're going to throw down a sentry ward. Reeve's going to stand his ground. He's going to try and finish off the Clinks. We'll be able to grab it, though it looks like they are going to continue to pursue onto the Wind Ranger here. And that's going to be a Frostbite. Frost Nova as well. Won't be enough for the kill. And she will survive. So there's going to be a 1-for-1. Clinks in exchange for that Bounty Hunter. Bounty Hunter really not off to a good start here, though. Sort of a
Equal, you can tell he's not doing a lot of the small things. Like when you TP, you can windwalk as you're TPing, and you'll save yourself 50 mana there, and in case you need it. It's pretty useful, but he's not doing a lot of the small things that makes Bounty Hunter a little bit less weak in the early game. Notably using items to take off dust so that you can hopefully survive and not shadow walk or not windwalking when you TP from base. A lot of people don't know that you can cast windwalk abilities while channeling TP scroll and other channeling spells.
That is a nice little bit of knowledge right there. There you go.
Yeah, it's useful.
Yeah, useful.
It's especially useful with like a Weaver, just because he has like such low cooldown of spells. TP and Shikuchi, there's like, what are you gonna do about that? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so the laning setup here for Next.KZ is kind of interesting. Bounty Hunter playing basically a support role down here. I don't really know what else to call it. He's here with Wind Ranger, and Wind Ranger 4-1, Bounty Hunter 1-0. They're I don't know what to call this lane. It's a 2-1-2 with Bounty Hunter not farming. I guess Wind Ranger isn't really farming either. I don't know. What are your thoughts about this lane setup for Next.KZ here? Because I can't really make sense of it, honestly.
I think it's a big loss for them. Firstly, they don't get that much farm on either of those heroes. Secondly, they don't have experience on Bounty Hunter. They really need experience on Bounty Hunter. That's the main thing that Bounty Hunter needs. You don't need any CS. You don't need boots. All you need is like level 6. And then once you get level 6, you can start moving around. And a lot of people a lot of the good Bounty Hunters do stuff before level 6. For example, harass mid, especially if you're a very aggressive mid. Dragon Knight not the most aggressive, especially versus the Queen of Pain, so I can understand why he's not roaming around there. But for the most part, you want to get experience, not die, and keep their supports from just having free reign, which is stacking and pooling and ganking to other lanes. You need to keep the supports where they are, because if one of the supports rotates mid, and especially if two go to kill Wadafaka, he's going to die. So their job is to just keep him down there. And I guess they're doing their job of keeping him down there, but they still died twice in the process. However, they have killed the Clinks once, so that's not that bad for them. But as of right now, they have no idea where the supports are. And Wadafaka has to be extremely scared. Notice he's standing on top of the hill because he has no idea where the two supports are. They don't actually have a smoke on them, and if Bounty Hunter hopefully called that out to his team. It's like, hey, well, you don't need to worry about a smoke, at least not yet. And as long as it's daytime, which is only for 40 more seconds, he can feel like he's relatively safe. He does have a regeneration rune.
Yeah, that's true. He does have a regen rune here as well. Oh, you're absolutely right. No smokes out quite yet, but Mouz are taking the better of it here. We are in a pause, I guess. Ping, a bit of an issue. There was a reconnect or a disconnect here from Wadafaka, and perhaps he can make it back in here. So even though we're in the game, still slated to have some lag issues, it seems. But Mouz off to a pretty good start. They've actually got themselves a nice 1,500 gold lead, minor experience lead, but it seems they're finding the better of the laning phase with a little bit more of a traditional laning setup, I think. Clockwork in the off lane, Quap in the mid, and then the supports here just in the jungle helping out Clinks in kind of a pseudo tri lane. Opening up a little bit better experience farm. Elder Titan not quite as good in the jungle compared to that Crystal Maiden, or Visage for that matter.
Yeah, Clinks is a very strange choice for a tri lane just because he needs levels too, and he needs solo farm, which he'll get. But if he's like Orchid and like level 7, you're not really that scared because he needs like level 4 Searing Arrows. He needs high skeleton walk so he can move around really fast with his death pact on. If you're really slow, your death pact is going to expire often before you actually find a good target to kill. So you really do need, like, I'd say level 10, 4 Searing Arrows, 4 skeleton walk, 1 death pact, 1 strafe for when you're really strong with your Orchid. But it's going to be a little bit delayed. Strafe doesn't really scale that well with levels. You still get the same attack speed at all levels, but it just lasts a little bit longer. And usually you can kill people within 4 seconds anyways with the Orchid pop. Orchid only lasts 5, so.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Orchid, in the new patch, there's now a graphic for when the Orchid does the burst of damage. I haven't actually seen it yet. I have not either, but I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like. I thought that was a nice little change. Very minor, totally cosmetic, but It's nice because that's one of those things that I almost never think of. Like, oh, he got orchided, and they usually die under the wrath of the orchid. I guess it's sort of rare for that last tick of damage to actually finish people off, but it happens.
Oh, it does happen. Happens fairly often, I'd say, with Clinks.
Yeah, yeah. Clinks is a good example of it, I suppose. But since we're stuck in a pause here, we have some time to chat. We'll continue on perusing the notes of 6.79c. Merlini, the big one, Hand a Midas recipe up from 1400 to 1550. Thoughts?
That item was not touched in such a long time. I'm still somewhat surprised that it got nerfed. I guess not that surprised. Maybe 150 I think is a little bit too much. Usually they're very, very small, like drums is like 50 gold recipe nerf now and then, but can't say I'm like extremely sad to see it nerfed. But I can't say I'm like extremely happy.
Sad is not a word that I would use. I think it was okay. I think you're right, and it's a sort of a bigger change all at once than we're used to. But I think for Hand a Midas and how much it's been picked up, I'm actually worried that it's not enough. I mean, do you really think 150 gold will deter a lot of folks from grabbing Hand a Midas?
150 gold is it's a fair amount, especially to a support, and especially when it's like somewhat timing important. I mean, for like good players, it's only one more creep wave, right? But still, it's like that much longer that you have to fight without like any real items, which is pretty tough. So I think it's pretty significant, and it's what are you paying for? You're just paying for attack speed and the ability to get gold. But if you actually have to fight, it gives your opponents a little bit larger of a window to take a lot of advantage of it, and teams have been taking advantage of it. And most of the games that I've seen where we see like 3 or 4 Midas comebacks, it's just really poor play by the other team and their ability to close out the game and keep control of the map. I wouldn't really say it's like the overpoweredness of Midas that's let the team back in the game. They should be able to be punished very, very heavily. Just get a cloak into a pipe and a mech and just push up to T3, and it shouldn't be that difficult to do like 20-25 minutes in if they go like 3 or 4 Midases. But teams often just try to place a passive route without Midases of their own, and that's just a losing proposition.
Yeah, absolutely right. Well, we'll see how it affects things. Still, I think a needed change. Midas was definitely a bit too popular, I think is safe to say, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it also just has to do with like players bandwagoning on what everybody else is doing too. And if like 1 or 2 teams has success with it, a lot of other teams are going to use it. Similar to Clinks, right? How many teams have we seen you actually use Clinks effectively prior to MLG? It was pretty much just Na'Vi with Funnick, I'd say, and we'd see the occasional other Clinks, but no one would actually run it that well. So it's just like whatever. And then people would like start picking it now and then all like. And Elder Titan was used really well by Boba, and then all of a sudden, boom, Elder Titan everywhere. And people just like bandwagoning. It didn't really have that much time for the whole Midas effects of fade, and I definitely did see it get punished, at least in the very top tier play. It's easier to see it go punished, but yeah, I guess people aren't too happy seeing Midas gaming either.
Yeah. It is a little bit boring, but I absolutely agree about the bandwagoning. I think there are always overreactions. Crystal Maiden is a good example where we'll probably see her picked a little bit less, even though that nerf is just not that big. And like 2 starting intelligence less, but they make up for it in damage. So she doesn't hit any less hard. It's just a basically smaller mana pool to start off. And I guess slightly less regen and that stuff. But yeah, little things like that. Pro players, I think, overreact sometimes to certain changes, and that bandwagon effect definitely comes through.
Yeah, I definitely agree that people overreact. Like the Shadow Demon nerf, it's like it's huge. I mean, it's big, but it's not to the point where Shadow Demon's like completely unusable. That's just ridiculous. And who else got nerfed and hasn't really seen that much play? I'm trying to think of heroes that were like somewhat popular in 6.7, like Batrider. Batrider's not unusable, but people just can't like play him very, very well, like S4. I would say S4 is the best bet writer that I've seen in the West, and the ones that just like scrape by due to the heroes really strong skill set, those people can't play. They have to practice a lot, and he's actually really skill dependent now, and that's what the nerfs really come down to. Can you actually play the hero, or are you just getting by because of the hero's innate imbalancedness?
Yeah, Batrider is a really good example of one that fell off that I think is still pretty viable.
He's still powerful. Yeah.
There's another good example, but I'm having
Magnus,
trouble
I think too.
Yeah, Magnus. He's so high skill cap though. I wouldn't say a lot of teams were using him.
Yeah,
because
dude, he was so popular. Oh my goodness, he was like in every single game at one point in 6.78, like for a good month, I'd say.
Oh,
but yeah, he's very high skill cap. And if you were a bad mag player, you could kind of scrape by before, especially with the 1200 range skewer. Oh my goodness, at level 1.
Yeah.
Who else? Nyx Assassin, I think,
Nyx
is
Assassin.
also.
Yeah, then that's even better. Point in case, changing one of his abilities from basically a sure stun to a skill shot. There you go. He just becomes harder and starts to fall off a bit. One of the other ones, to a lesser degree, is OD. I mean, those changes to OD were pretty minor. Items no longer trigger Essence Aura, base damage reduced by 3. OD was changed very little, and he went from first pick, first ban every game to now we sometimes see him banned. He's
annoying. I don't like playing against him at all. Like, I think he's too easy too. Like all you do is just Astro in lane and you win. It's very, very simple to do.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a hero like Queen of Pain, who has to manage her mana a lot now with Shadow Strike because it costs 110 at all levels, and it's just she's I think much harder hero to like execute in terms of being able to dominate your lane.
Yeah, I mean, Queen of Pain's one of those heroes that's interesting because positioning is extra important. Her big nuke has to be, you know, not melee range, but only a sub 500 radius. She's always been a slightly more difficult hero to manage, and her ultimate, although very powerful, is a complete skill shot and can be whiffed if you're not totally on point. So, yeah. She's any of those really snowbally heroes that don't recover quite as well are definitely a higher skill cap. It's always interesting to see just a mediocre Queen of Pain player and a truly like really, really good Queen of Pain player. It's almost like seeing a different hero sometimes.
Yeah, it really is.
It's pretty interesting. So Whatafaka having some serious connection issues here. From the little I've gathered, I think they're at a LAN cafe, and he's having a PC issue, but I'm not entirely sure. So I don't even know if these are Volvo server issues or if this is just unrelated Friday the 13th issues. Have you had a chance to play any ranked matchmaking? I saw you tweeting about it last night, Merlin.
I have played 5.
How did you find your experience?
Oh, it's okay. I queued with a party of somewhat reliable players.
Not solo? You didn't go for the
YOLO queue?
Yeah, the total dice roll.
I'm not about that. I've had very, very bad experiences with solo queue ever since I started playing Dota. So
I do it a bit. I like it, but at the same time, I don't know. I also equally, as much as I like it, I at least equally, if not more, dislike it. But I don't know. At least if when you're solo queuing and you lose, you kind of feel like, well, I tried as hard as I could. I don't know what else I could have done.
Yeah, but it just seems like a big waste of time compared to playing with friends.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I guess it depends. Like if your friends aren't around, then I mean, and you want to play Dota, then you don't really have an option, I suppose. But if you have friends around, I would almost always rather play with my friends than play solo.
Yeah. I'm a little bit nervous, though. I'm afraid to solo queue and then do terrible, and everyone's going to laugh at my terrible rating. It's private, but not for people that stream all the time. It's so public. So public.
Yeah, that's just something that the streamers are going to have to deal with.
Yeah. I already get harassed enough for only having, like, 250 wins or something.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not very many.
I have played way too many Dota games in my lifetime.
Yeah, it's not, I've played a lot more than I've won. Let me put it that way. No, I think my win rate is actually almost exactly 50% right now. I hit that mark like when I did a last long session, and I haven't played too many since then. But, yeah, it looks like players
play, man. I think that casters should definitely play. They don't have to play often, but they should at least play like on average like 5 to 10 games a week, I'd say, like bare minimum.
I would agree with you. I wish I played more. My biggest problem right now is I'm having back issues. I've spent too many an hour hunched over the computer, and I've strained my left rhomboid, and I can't seem to get it back to normal. So I basically scurry through the Starladder casting with an ice pack on my back, and then try and rest it so I don't push it too hard. That's been my biggest... I need to get a standing desk. I think that'll fix some of my issues. If I can stand up part of the time when I'm casting. But
yeah, people seem to like that.
I just wish somebody had told me about ergonomics before I was like, 23 and already committed to horrible posture. Because now I'm feeling the repercussions.
Not too late to change.
It's definitely not too late to change, but what I really need to do is take a month off and let my back reset. Yeah. And can't do that. So, all right, looks like we are going to resume. Hopefully it holds steady here, guys.
I didn't see anything in the chat. I guess maybe they were talking in all chat or something. Exist might get a kill on Wadafaka here. He might have to pop his regen.
Oh, looks like he's going to survive.
He wants to wait.
Yeah, he's trying
because he doesn't want to be inefficient.
I don't think the dot's going to be enough.
Yeah, it's not going to kill. One more right click would have forced it out, and that would have been like a huge blow to Wadafaka because he would be at like, if he fully bottled after that, he would be at maybe like 500 HP ish without any bottle charge. Now he has 700 HP with full. So he should have pressed a little bit harder with that.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like you said, one more auto attack, he wouldn't have been able to wait, or it would have resulted in a death. So, all right. So to recap here, that was a very long pause. We're here at the 4-minute mark, 2-1. Mouz still leading the way. Looks like Queen of Pain doing very well in the mid, sitting 23-11 against the 8-2 Dragon Knight. So what a fuck up.
Pretty big domination.
Whew. Yeah, really falling behind here. That is not good. And now Rai's going to grab that 4-minute rune. It is going to be an invisibility. And I think they're going to try and set up a kill on this Dragon Knight, perhaps. Nope, Rai's just going to about face.
He's way too high HP. He also went for level 2 Shadow Strike, so he needs to wait for level 6. He also needs to harass him out just a little bit more just to get him in that kill range. And Equal is already there, but Rice is giving it up. He knows that it's too difficult to kill him, especially with a bottle charge left and a magic stick. It's just not happening.
Yeah. So they will abandon. Crystal Maiden going to head back down to the bottom lane, though unfortunately for them, not a lot of lane control here, and Wind Ranger going to be safe under the tower, at least for now. Though, Rai's going to put himself in a nice aggressive position here that Invis did wear off, and needs to be a little bit careful, though. He is stuck in the trees, and Reeves could potentially land a shackle here. There's going to be a roam down from Equal, but they are going to engage on Reeves. There's the Frostbite. Not going to have enough damage to finish him off, I don't think. They're going to try and turn it around. Oh, I take that back. Wind Ranger does fall, but it's going to cost him a Visage as Equal comes in, and that'll make it a 1-for-1. Wind Ranger for the Visage.
Thanks. Now, Clockwork on top. He's getting okay CS 14 into about half of Mantis. Clinks already with his Midas. That's very fast considering the Midas nerf and considering that he died. So I actually think he had to have skipped out on his items. Yeah, he has 3 branches and a tango, so there's like almost no way you can get that with dying and with 150 gold more, unless you get pulled or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And down to the bottom, Equal going to be in big trouble, and they are going to dust him. It might be enough for a kill. Crit going to come in for that one last burst, not going to find it. Bounty Hunter, is he going to go for it? He's trying to find him. Wait, no, that's Clinks. I'm so sorry. I saw the invisible. Clink's going to dive the tower and not going to get it.
That was a big mistake by Unicorn. He went to the shop to buy his boots, and 1 Searing Arrows hit would have killed Equal there. So they just weren't on the same page. They just weren't communicating. Be like, hey guys, I need to buy my boots real fast. Or Chris maybe needs to be like, hey, I'm going to use my dust on this guy. Let's get a kill. But that should have been a very, very easy kill for Mouz.
Yeah. Too bad. Absolutely. Sort of the second time here something like that has happened. They've tried a couple of efforts and, well, they have shut down that Bounty Hunter pretty well, but that time he will survive. Oh, 2-2 on the Bounty Hunter. Still not off to the best start. But Clockwork is doing okay up here. Ace sitting 20-4 in last hits against the 34-15 Weaver. So really not too bad for the long lane Clockwork. He is now level 6 and did manage to bottle up a regeneration rune as well. So not too shabby.
Not too shabby indeed. Wadafaka just bottle crowing up. He's still suffering in CS though. 15 compared to the Queen of Pain is about to be 40, which is pretty ridiculous. I usually don't see co-ops dominate this hard, although they definitely should be able to. Ace on top, going on Mantis.
Oh, he's going to dive it. Mantis in big trouble. He's going to be stuck in the cogs. And, oh, Creep's going to take a couple of those battery assaults. Now Ace going to have to head for the hills. And he is going to survive, it looks like. That one last tower attack not going to be enough, but Elder Titan going to come in. And Ace going to use the regen. Elder Titan not going to be able to get the damage off. Ace should be able to survive this. A nice little play here, but in the mid lane, did miss. Dragon Knight getting killed. Looks like a rotation did come his way. And he's going to fall. So, wow, double whammy here coming out for Next.KZ. Going to lose their Weaver as well as their Dragon Knight. Two very high-value targets. Both going to get back.
Weaver has his Midas at least, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is definitely good news. I'm surprised at the gold lead already, though. I mean, it's over 3,000 here for Mouz. And
it's mostly because of this bottom lane.
Yeah.
Their CS is just terrible. 17 combined in between the both of them.
Oh.
And Bounty Hunter is doing well in terms of leveling, though. He's 5.5, which is better than I would expect him to be, being 0 and 2. So he should hit his track level pretty soon. But then again, it's still difficult to find kills on Mouz. Visage already level 6. Reeves might die here. He's going to die.
Bird's going to come in. Reeves going to try and stand his ground for now. He will try and wind run away. Unicorn going to come around the backside with wind run already off. Unicorn taking sort of an odd misstep to the other way. I think Reeves still going to be slated to fall, but almost giving him a little bit of breathing room there. Shackle, power shot, Visage. Going to survive with a slightly lower hit point pool than intended, perhaps. And here, Equal going to be in trouble again. Rise is going to throw down a sentry, but not going to be able to finish him off. Will burn a dust as well. And Bounty Hunter going to make the right call just to pour it out, and he's going to survive.
Yeah, he's doing a good job of wasting their time now.
Yeah.
And burning a lot of their resources. 2 dusts already used without a kill.
Yeah. The biggest problem, I think, for Next.KZ here is just going to be this underfarmed Dragon Knight. I mean, he just has so little to his name, especially compared to this Quap, who is the leading the game in last hits here. And
I think Quap should be picked more often. She's a good hero, and she got nerfed, but not to the point of being unusable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ace.
Up top, it is going to be a 3 versus 1. Ace going to head for the hills. As Shackle going to fly, not going to latch. Cogs will come, and he'll be safe under the tower. Almost a close call there for Ace. So, what's the Midas count here? Is it just 1 apiece? Yep, Clinks and Weaver, the only 2 of the Midas right now.
I think it's likely to stay at that, too.
Yeah.
Crystal Maiden already went for Tranquil Boots, and on the side of Next.KZ, Dragon Knight. I mean, I guess he could go for. Is that all he has? Boots, Bottle, and Magic Wand?
Yeah, I mean, he has
that is absurd.
Nothing.
Yeah, usually you have like at least treads, I say by now, with just pure breathe fire spam.
Yeah.
And he's been bottle crowing nearly nonstop, and he had a regen room. So there's like a lot of things that went well for him that usually don't. Ace.
Yeah. They're going to throw down a sentry here, looking for an opportunity. Not going to find it. Cogs don't come. I mean, it could be a little bit of the lag issue that started off with Wadafaka. If he was struggling to start off in the lane because of lag-related issues, started to fall behind, and now Quap is just commandeering all the momentum. Very possible. Trying to give him the benefit of the doubt here, as he did have an extended period of disconnection. But, oh, Mantis up top. Cog's going to come. Mantis not going to get stuck inside. And Ace not going to be able to finish off that kill. If he grabbed him inside the Cogs there, probably would have had enough to finish him with the battery assault. Would have been close either way. But Mantis will have a small stroke of luck right there. Uh-oh, Ace going to bump right into him here. This time, not going to have the Cogs for it. Oh, yes, he does. Surprised to see him not burn those. But the support comes in. Now Ace going to be in big trouble. Shackle does fly, doesn't latch. And that will be a kill as the power shot does some damage. And Weaver going to grab that last hit.
Ace just playing extremely aggressively. This is a territory that you do not want to be in, especially when a couple of the supports are missing. Both supports were missing. Reeves with the DD pursuing out exist.
He's going to try and push forward. Shackle going to fly. Again, not going to latch. And Exist going to survive.
Surprised he didn't just blink. He took like 300 damage that he didn't need to, and he might die now because of it.
Yep. Oh, Clinks in the bottom lane did manage to take out that tier 1, but now Rise in big trouble. Wadafaka going to try and press forward. Shackle, pardon me, the hook shot comes in, and Equal is going to fall. That's going to make it a 1-for-1. CM for Bounty Hunter, and Wadafaka going to head for the hills in Elder Dragon form there. Almost.
He did get a track kill, though.
Yeah. A track did come out, almost surviving there on that Crystal Maiden, but very valuable track kill. Going to help get Wadafaka slowly back on track here. Looks like he does have some stuff coming on the courier.
Getting pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. It's his power treads, at least.
Already like 7,500 gold lead, 12 minutes in, and it hasn't really been that like it hasn't looked that bad for Next.KZ. Like Mantis has only died once, he's survived. They've killed Ace once, he has his Midas. Mid, Dragon Knight, he's only died once. It's not like extremely bad crit getting chased down.
Yep, he is going to get tracked here. Crit going to be in a lot of trouble, but Queen of Pain going to come in. That'll be the end of the Weaver. He's just going to get blown up by the Quap ulti. And now Equal is going to be forced to back out. There are some sentries down, though, so they could still set up a kill here, perhaps. Quap going to use the Scream. Going to try and stand her ground. She's going to fall, but it will cost Bounty Hunter his life. Maybe a bit too bold there, as Reeves does have enough damage to finish him off. Now Crit actually taking a lot of damage. Going to still stand his ground against Reeves. He's got the Familiars in. Another Power Shot going to come out. Another auto attack going to be enough to finish him off, but the Familiars still going at it. Gonna have Stone Form here, but not gonna be able to make it happen. All the while in the bottom lane, Elder Titan does fall to Unicorn and Ace. And yeah, Reeves on that Windrunner gonna come out the victor here.
Quap had a regen rune. She had her blink on cooldown, and she wasn't shackled, so she could have blinked out, but she got greedy and really wanted the Bounty Hunter kill, even though Visage would have been able to secure it without her in. If she blinks out and regens, they can probably kill 2 for 0 instead of 1 for 2.
Oh, Ace in no man's land right now. He's gonna get sandwiched as Wadafaka comes in, and nowhere for him to go. This is gonna be a free Clockwork kill. Very aggressive positioning. Surprising item choice on him. It doesn't really save him versus that much over here. They have like a fair amount of physical damage, but he's just in no man's land. But if he tanks first in team fights, it will definitely help. But he could have had a mech instead. Yeah, absolutely, and there is a good bit of early game aggression coming out here. No mech on either side, actually. Visage just went straight for the medallion. And Quap actually working for an Orchid as well. This is going to be a double Orchid opening for Mouz on Quap and Clinks. They're both well on their way. Clinks even closer, though. That net worth graph, a little bit skewed in favor of Mouz. Clinks in particular leading the way by a pretty large margin. But in the mid lane, looks like we could see some initiation here. Wadafaka in Elder Dragon form, going to get caught in the Frostbite. They're going to go in. That's going to be a kill on the Dragon, it looks like. Nope, the Sleep going to come in from the Elder Titan. Weaver did fall in the bottom lane while all this was happening. They at least trade the Clockwork for the Dragon Knight in the mid. But still, this Weaver going to get picked on. Somehow Unicorn was able to solo him down.
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened, too.
Yeah, was not ready for that. I saw him tangling down there, but yeah, I should not have happened. Clinks does not have his Orchid yet. So that was just a matter of right clicks.
He has it now, though, in like 200 gold. And now Weaver is just so screwed. No BKB in sight, no Lincolns in sight. And if Unicorn just hunts him down over and over again before his Midas kicks in, then he is going to just be useless in the late game. So Unicorn can definitely do that, though. He just needs 50 gold until his Orchid. Yep. And yeah, this is one of the problems with the Midas build. Like, you have this window in between your Midas and your next big item, and if your opponents get off to a really, really good start, they'll just punish you really hard.
That's exactly what's happening here, and this Weaver
Unicorn might die.
Definitely had a couple of missteps. And oh, Shackle gonna fly. It will latch. Now Unicorn in big trouble. He gets dusted as well. Down he goes, but he does stand his ground, finishes off the tower before he falls, so at least gonna get something for it. Don't know if that was worth it.
Orchid recipe too.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you think there? A Clinks kill for the tower?
I think it's okay. It's slightly better for Next.KZ since they're behind. I think if both teams were even, it's an even trade. But if Next.KZ is slightly behind, it's better for them because they need kills very, very badly right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But following that Bounty Hunter kill at the top lane that did happen simultaneously, they will grab the top Tier 1 tower. So that will take the total tower count now 3-0 in favor of Mouz. Again, they did clear that Tier 2 in the bottom lane. So going to further their gold lead even more now, upwards of 15 minutes. And, well, experience lead pretty comparable here, somewhere about 7,500. Definitely not too shabby. Wadafaka going to grab himself the 16-minute rune. Will be an illusion. So we'll find a little pick-me-up there. Does have about 1,200 in the bank. So slowly but surely making some recovery.
He's gonna find Mantis right now with his Orchid.
Oh, that's a dead Weaver. Not surviving that one.
No chance.
Yeah.
We didn't get a chance to see the pop sound.
I was just thinking that. I was like, oh no. And up in the top lane, Equal gonna get caught by another hook shot. Dust gonna be used. Down he goes. Gonna be an easy kill on the Bounty Hunter. Things just continuing to be worse and worse for Next.KZ. Especially in this Weaver. I mean, he is the one that needs to carry them in this game, and he still just has next to nothing. I mean, he's got Power Treads, Ring of Basilius, but not much besides that Midas.
When Wadafaka has to go Vid Booster on Dragon Knight, you know your early game has just been terrible. And it's it's nice to get the fit booster, but look at him just get bursted down. Like the Orchid doesn't even pop before he dies. So it's better for him to get utility items as opposed to HP. Unless you 5-man. 5-man is when like these survivability items like Vanguard and fit booster come in handy. But in terms of like small skirmishes like that, Mouz is so far ahead that 250 HP is not going to make that big of a difference at all.
Yep. Absolutely right about that, my friend. And even Visage now getting pretty close to that Egg Scepter. Visage does fall. A beautiful Shackle going to come out and a buyback from the Weaver. We'll be able to time-lapse back in. Quap going to fall. Clockwork will manage to finish off that Bounty Hunter. Now Ace kind of in no man's land. Might be able to finish off Mantis here. Mantis going to be stuck in the cogs. He will get pushed back. Oh, he's so low. Ace just going to try and turn. Wants to finish him off. Not going to find it. Is going to have a rocket. Might be able to shoot it. Well, he does shoot it, but won't be able to finish him off. Familiar stuns come out. Ace still alive somehow. And Quap does come back, going to be able to finish off the Wind Ranger, and Clockwork does eventually fall. Reeves actually going to buy back here. Oh, God, yeah.
In
the bottom lane here, Clink's going to be going crazy on that bottom tier 3. And yeah, I am getting some frame drops here, guys. I know there's some lag on the stream. Got to tend to it after this match. Gonna have to tweak some settings. Sorry about that. But yeah, Mouz getting the much better of that exchange, opening up a lot of space for that Clink's. That tier 3. Well, pretty low already.
They still suffer pretty heavy losses, though. Three deaths for 1 Bounty Hunter kill and a Wind Ranger kill. That's not the best trade for them, especially when they're this far ahead. But, I mean, if you get that much damage on a T3, then you can't discount that Unicorn with the DD on the hunt. He does have Death Pack for another 15 seconds. That is a scary, scary Clinks. If he finds Amazing over here, Amazing's just going to fall. Unicorn in mid. They have a Sentry Ward. They are ready.
Yep, and he's going to come in here. Wind Ranger going to get dropped. The hookshot comes in. Whatafaka going to be in big trouble here. And, well, Echo Slam does come down. That'll buy him a little bit of time. Won't be enough to keep him alive, though. Dragon Knight falls. And now Unicorn on the run. He is going to get taken out by the Weaver. Ace now on the run as well. And not the worst exchange.
Whatafaka didn't stun very fast at all. Clinks was able to Orchid and get like 4 hits on the Wind Ranger before he stunned out. Oh, I saw the pop.
Yep. Oh, I think I might have seen it, but I saw a little image that I didn't recognize. Was it red? Might have been track.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I caught it, but I didn't quite process
Elder Titan
it.
also didn't get natural order this game, and that's kind of a wasted hero if you don't get natural order.
Yeah.
Echo Stomp is like okay for counter initiation, but
like we are back in action here. I did just tweak the settings. Hopefully that helps. Equal gonna be in trouble once again. Down he goes. Mouz just continuing to further their lead. Sort of holding.
They have a gem
here,
on Queen of Pain too.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. And the Scepter is out on Visage now. Still no big items coming out for Next.KZ. Got a nice lag spike there. Although, what is Weaver grabbing here? He's got a Blade of Alacrity. Is that going to be a Yasha?
It might be a Diffusal to purge it off. I doubt it's going to be a Diffusal. It's more likely a Mantis style, so he can split out of the Orchid.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah. I guess
but BKB is better when you're this far behind.
Yeah, I was...
you can...
Yeah, thinking the same. Like, yeah, it's going to be a while before he grabs himself a Manta, if that's what he's going for. Yeah, it's sort of the right mindset, but going to be a long way coming. Going to see some action here in the mid lane. Mantis going to be Orchided to start things off. Whatafaka going to be engaged on the side. And that'll be the end of the Dragon Knight to start things off. Clink's just going to lay into the Weaver. He's going to fall. Amazing going to get taken out as well. That's going to be the GG already. So right as I get the stream back up, of course. Going to GG out. So that was an interesting game one. Very one-sided for Mouz. That Clink's just picked up a lot of momentum, and he never let it go. I mean, look, he was #1 on the net worth chart by a huge margin for pretty much the entire game. And here, at the end, he's doubling the leading farmer of Next.KZ. So that's the power of Clink's getting a little bit of momentum and a 5.5-minute Midas, even with the new changes.
Yep. Well played by Mouz there. And, yeah, I mean, it seemed like Next.KZ were having some lag issues, though, so maybe. I don't know. Give them benefit of the doubt, as he said.
And of course, muted myself as soon as I came back. So, all right. Can we just pretend that game didn't happen, Merlini? And we're going to start fresh here with the Alliance matches, and we will be on Dota TV. So don't go anywhere, guys. We've got plenty more Dota coming your way.